Just after 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening, you are listening to Garnet and Old. No inside info, no contacts, no problems, but we actually do have problems. I'm Big Papa East. That's VC No Vince Ciccarelli. Vince, I wish I were coming to you with better circumstances on this Sunday. How are you, my friend?
Today has been an awesome day, Ryan. Today was a beautiful day. I
Oh,
woke up.
weather-wise, it's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing today. I actually did not mind doing a little yard work. Um, you know, got some got some good brain time in. Meditation, things to calm me down, Ryan. Because
Mm.
yesterday, yesterday we're going to talk a lot about yesterday.
If you aren't familiar with Garden Old, please like and subscribe. And we want to thank our two sponsors, Captain Black's Fishing, who is a longtime sponsor, and then also the Palace Saloon in Tallahassee. Thank you guys for supporting Garden and Old. The Palace Saloon, you can find it right by Doak Campbell Stadium. And if you're in the Panama City Beach area, please check out Captain Black's Fishing Charter. So, Vince, uh, there was a game on Saturday.
There was. It was beautiful. By the way, the weather was beautiful yesterday. You could not have asked for a prettier day in Doak Campbell. Sky
Mike
was
Norvell's birthday.
the coach's birthday. The sky is blue. Um, your boy here found some really reasonable tickets for the sideline club. So we were living large there until we weren't, Ryan.
The good news for you, Vince, you'll probably be able to get those very nice tickets on the regular for the rest of the season, I would imagine.
And
Florida State,
you know me, Ryan. I'm going every game regardless,
yeah.
right? That's just me. That's who I am. That's who I've been. And it hurts my heart, but I'm not going to stop going to support my team.
Florida State falls to 0-3 in the ACC. Eerily similar to how terrible we started off in the ACC last year. Eerily similar to many years when we lost 3 games in a row. I think, Vince, your tweet yesterday probably said it best. The standard consistently not being met. Now, I think it's fair to say, Vince, out of the two of us, you have been definitely a hard and fast Mike Norvell defender.
Yeah.
Famously, last year, when the season was concluded, your boy here, Ryan, said, "Hey, it's time to fire Mike Norvell," and we didn't. And hey, listen, I didn't mind the hires. I liked Gus's offense as far as it getting a quicker turnaround. That was my guess. Like bringing a system that is at least you can count on to run the ball. I like Tony White a lot when we went out and got Tony White because I watched Nebraska games and it looked like a good defense. So cautiously optimistic going into the season, both of us. But I would say, Vince, between the two of us, you've definitely been, and you are not just for Mike Norvell, but for other coaches as well. More of a hey, let's give them a chance. Like let's if they're a good human being and they do things the right way in other facets,
Yep.
let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think that the tide for many people, many fans, has kind of turned after this loss.
So yeah. So here's the thing. I'm not. I don't want you to paint me as long as the guy is a nice guy, he should coach.
Yeah, because you
He
did
should
defend
coach the
Willie
Knowles.
Taggart.
That is not what that's not me. I prefer that our coach be a stand-up guy, right? I prefer that. But you also got to win games, man.
Yeah,
You got to win games. Now, I don't want a turd like Urban Meyer coaching our team because it doesn't matter how many wins you get. It's all like it's greasy and I don't feel good about that. But yeah, so last year when that travesty took place, I was of the opinion that we had seen some things from Mike that showed that he could get the program to a point that we could all be proud of.
Yep.
And that last year, you know, should not be an indicator, you know, that singular season should not be an indicator of you know, letting him go or not letting him go. But you know, I'm also not naive. I have said this since probably his second year, maybe his third year, and you as well, is that the recruiting is not good enough. It's nowhere near what a school like Florida State should be doing. And so, you know, if you're, what I'm getting at is, you got to kind of compile all this together, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice guy, yes. Does he love Florida State? I believe he does. I think he's got a heart for it. But you don't have the mechanisms in place to counteract the negative things that are going on. Like, you don't have to be the greatest game day coach, right? If you have the Jimmies and Joes, you
We've
don't
seen it.
have
Yeah.
you don't have to be culture rah 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 guy if you've got the Jimmies and Joes. Ultimately, I think the thing that is, you know, the biggest indictment on him is that, you know, you've got a roster full of people that, while there may be some talent there, you don't have enough depth in that room or in the locker room, and you don't have enough guys that bought in from day one. And so when things start to go south, you know, when things go south for you, Ryan, who do you pull close? The people that have been with you, right? The people that have been through the fire with you, your family, your friends. But when you have not gone through, you know, the heartaches together,
Mm-hmm.
and I said it last week, I said it 2 weeks ago, I said it 3 weeks ago. This team doesn't quit. They don't quit. And that is an admirable quality. But, you know, you cannot quit all the way to 3-9.
Yeah. I agree 100% with your recruiting points. We've both been saying that for years. But we have better players than Pitt.
We do.
We have better players than Virginia.
We do.
So it's like, how are they able to play above their weight class when there's a talent mismatch? So what it tells me is and this is what I've come to learn, and sometimes you don't realize it until you have some more data. You know, you don't always have all the data. So when last season happened, we're like, okay, coming into this year, was that 13-0 and the season before it a byproduct of just hitting an absolute home run on portal on hits and having a guy that was already on the roster before you got here just happened to work out in Jordan Travis? Or did you build this and take those guys in the portal and, you know, grow them into that undefeated season? Last season, in a vacuum, I could say, man, I don't have enough data to know what the answer is, because this could just be a really weird byproduct of the new landscape of college football, which, by the way, look around, people. You're seeing a lot of weird results happen again this weekend. A lot of odd, like, what was that score? Kind of
Indiana won.
situations.
Yeah. People saying Indiana's no good. Yeah,
right.
Mostly SEC
So,
people are saying that.
Last year in a vacuum, you go and you're like, man, despite my frustrations, let's find out this year. Was it I hit the jackpot in a couple portal guys that were incredible all at the same time in first-round draft picks and second-round draft picks? Or was he hey, he got those guys and he helped them, you know, developed it into that, build that.
Sure.
The problem is now with this season and where we're at now, is it's trending towards you got lucky and hit the jackpot on a few key players that were so talented, the Jimmies and Joes, that despite, and you go back and now look at that season, the undefeated season, and without Keon Coleman making those catches, insane catches to beat Clemson, without Jordan Travis making 1,000 people miss and getting out of trouble for multiple years. The game plan wasn't. I mean, it's not like our offense was just humming in that undefeated season.
Yeah, I don't
But
want to, Brian.
but
I don't. Go ahead. You finish.
I don't need to litigate as far as what happened. But what I'm saying is now you have the data of it looks like you hit the jackpot, and those 2 seasons were magical. You take those 2 seasons away of all those jackpots, and you got a whole lot of losing.
Yeah, but I could also counter that and say, look at, what if Jameis Winston wasn't the quarterback? What if we didn't have Rashad Green? That is true of every team.
I'm gonna caveat that. Take away Jameis Winston and
Mhm.
Rashad Green in the national championship year. Jimbo was still on the regular, winning 9 games,
and also not good enough.
but nowhere near 2-10 or
Sure,
0-3
sure.
this year. And Jimbo never was going to be 0-3 in the ACC to start a year.
No, but
That
he
that wasn't
also,
happening.
yeah, I know we're going to get into some Jimbo talk here in a little bit because I think everybody wants to kind of hit on that. By the way, thank you for everybody that's kind of tuning in for us here with us here on a Sunday night. This is rare for us, but if you want to grab the link and share it out and let people know to join, this is going to be kind of a therapy session. There may be some expletives that are dropped during this show. I'll just give a kind of caveat to that right now. But if you guys don't mind sharing the link out, at least hit the like and subscribe. We want to get as many people into this emergency session, as it were,
Yeah,
as we can.
one thing I'm really happy about our fan base, Vince, and usually it's you can have a toxic fan base, not specifically us, but in college football. But what I appreciate is, Vince, a vast majority of our fan base. I love that man, it sucks. I like the guy, but we've given you
Yeah.
we gave you the chance this year. It ain't it. I think it's time. And I think, unlike previous years, even like Willie's time and even last year when the debacle was happening, the people that's like, the message board geniuses post, right? Fire everyone, every game, the posts on message boards. Even the people that are very much in the camp of, I don't like to restart, I don't want to fire someone just to fire him, even those people are like, I mean, 1-10 in the ACC is really. I mean, we
Listen,
watch, Vince, you and I watch a lot of football.
a
You'll have,
lot.
even by chance, a Wake Forest beat an NC State.
Man,
Just
you you
fall into it.
you should stumble into an ACC win.
Yeah.
You literally should stumble into one or two in the last 11 or however many it's been.
Mm-hmm.
So that is it's unacceptable. Um, Ryan, you and I have talked about this. You and I used to work at the same place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I still work there. And one of the things we used to say all the time is that company that I work for goes about things the right way in terms of when someone's struggling, they kind of put their arm around them, try to figure out how to right the ship.
Yeah,
They
which
do
is rare
everything.
these days.
They do everything they can to get somebody on the right track. Eventually, if someone's not kind of doing what they need to do, whatever that is, sometimes you got to part ways, right? But it's not for lack of trying to grow someone. 6 years is enough. Matter of fact, 6 years is way longer than most schools would even allow at this point. And I think because of the 13-1 season, and because of his first season being COVID, it probably garnered him another two. So, you know, even without those two, 4 years would be a lot. Um, So yeah, you're right. I think this fan base, we've always had kind of this kind of internal schism where you've got these people that are just the standard is the standard, and Florida State should get number one recruiting classes every year, and
Yeah.
we should win a title every year, and
Yeah.
anything
People like go
short of
get Dan Lanning, and you're like,
right, and everything short of that is just
okay.
miserable.
Yeah.
And then you have this other side, which are a little more reasonable side, which is like, hey man, this isn't like a Hollywood movie every year, right? These are real people, real kids, real highs, real lows. So you kind of that's part of the drama of it. It's part of why we love it all. But like you said, I have seen a number of people on X, on Facebook, that I would consider to be kind of in the same plane where I'm at. Whereas, I'm a little more, I say, I'm a lot more even keel about this stuff.
Hmm.
And they are done.
Yeah.
They are done.
Yeah. And it sucks because let me tell you what, like when it's right, it's amazing to have a coach that has the personality of Mike Norvell and high energy. Young, I like. Listen, I've always been like a fan of like younger coaches, like just the vibe of like him, doing the races at practice and like really pumped up with the guys and everything. Like that's who I would want to be coached by, right?
Sure.
I would never want to be coached by someone like Bill Belichick. Like that's just you know not appealing to me. Although not North Carolina, but it can work in certain circumstances. See Nick Saban, hard ass as a hard ass, but undeniably uh,
Successful.
successful. But
But Bobby Bowden,
yeah,
undeniably successful and a very different mentality.
but
Now,
you have to
now,
pair that likability with wins. Yeah,
that's correct.
yeah,
That's correct. And a lot of people have only seen, just like most of the public has only seen, uh, had only seen the jolly shucks part of Bobby Bowden. I'm sure that in the locker room, he was a red ass, you
yeah.
know, because he loved winning.
Hmm.
Um, so I'm not saying that Bobby was some kind of hee haw, you know,
Look
just
at
getting
Mickey
the best
Andrews.
guys. Yeah, exactly. So, um, but
We're
yeah, I
really in
mean,
it though now because you saw my post today probably on X, Vince.
well, hey man, I'm going to call you out a little bit, brother. We're in the middle of the game. I'm enjoying as much of the food in the West Sideline Club as I could while our defense continued to leave the middle of the field open time after time after time. And my boy Ryan here is sending me hashtags, and you've probably seen them. Go on his X account, you'll see him. And he's trying to bait me into doing it too. I'm like, Ryan, that's not me.
Yeah,
I'm not the igniter.
you also need
Um,
time to process more.
I'm a
Like,
processor. I got to process it all.
yeah. No, I'm talking about today's post. The what will come first, and I gave three options this coming week. Uh, will we get a message from the athletic department saying we fully support Mike Norvell being the head coach of this football team, and we believe will that happen? Will Mike Norvell talk about how good they are student athletes? Man, they're amazing kids, and they have great characteristics, and they go to school and they get good grades, or will we hear about a players only meeting? That's kind of the
Promissory
trajectory of
notes.
yeah, that's usually the trajectory these things go before a firing is like one of those items inevitably always happens, like where you start seeing like people that never peep up about things saying they support Mike Norvell, and you're like, oh, why did you feel the need to say that? Or Mike Norvell saying uncharacteristic things in press conferences. But in all kidding aside, I do want to talk about this situation
Well, yeah. We
in
also should
regards
go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the situation because I do think today's firing of James Franklin does have a impact on the situation, and I want to give you a specific reason, not the reason that probably people think. I don't think it's like putting pressure on the administration, like to match anything or anything like that. But what it does do, especially with work, vibes that Billy Napier likely, not long for this coaching world in the Florida Gators. When you have a position like a Penn State come open, some of those head coaches that you might have on your board of would be good coaches here at Florida State.
Now you got competition.
Now you got not just competition. Penn State's right there with Florida State, a true blue blood in this industry.
And
They
Big
are
Ten
right
money.
there. Like I think Penn State is on equal footing of a job as Florida State is, and I think you would probably agree with that. And very similar programs, Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden, like very similar trajectory. So what it does do is it doesn't put Florida State pressure on, hey, we should do it because another team did it. But what it does do is it starts a domino effect of other teams saying, well, if we're going to fire our guy, we need to be at the top list of these head coaches that are considering now the Penn State job.
Yeah.
And the buyout was almost identical.
Yeah.
To Mike Norvell.
Very, very close. See a lot of people in the chat here. Some people that don't normally make it to the live. So welcome to the live. If you guys, we're going to get to the comments for sure, but if you absolutely want to make sure your comment gets read, if you want to super chat us, that's fine. We can't send it for the buyout. If I could send it toward the buyout, I would. But super chat will make sure it absolutely gets read, but we will try to get to as many of the comments as we can. And if Rockin' Noel is still in the chat, if you want to join the show tonight, we'll send you a link.
Yeah.
So
what do you think about the Franklin situation?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Hey, our buddy Jeff Cameron always talks about Penn State being in the tent of suspicion.
They sure are.
Right? Which, by the way, Florida State has its own. We are in our own neighborhood tent of suspicion.
Yeah.
So it's an absolute collapse, and they have a better roster than we do, for sure. They were preseason, a lot of people preseason top 10. Some people were picking them to win the title.
Yep.
And, sometimes we got to look outside of our blinders, right? Yeah, we're going through it right now, and not just right now, for the last year plus. But there are other schools out there that are having a bad time too. Penn State is one of them. Penn State is a phenomenal job. It is a phenomenal fan base, and whether you are an SEC person or a Big Ten person or whatever, that's a great place. It's a great fan base. It's a great student body, and a lot of history and tradition there. So that means that job being open is automatically, someone of high quality is going to go to that job, which means there are less people available for the other jobs. And I'm not saying Florida State is not right up there with that job. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I think
it is. I think it is. But the thing that Penn State has for it is, first of all, they've already fired their coach. So they're already on the hunt. And they may already have an idea who they want, which a lot of what I've heard is true. And then the other thing is they got Big Ten money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got Big Ten money, and this plot only thickens if Billy Napier gets fired in the next week or so.
Yep.
Which is not impossible. Because whether or not, we all hate Florida or not, it's a top tier college football job.
It is. I would never. Hey, I'm not that kind of troller.
Yeah.
I will get at rivals, and I will do that, but I'm not going to pretend things aren't what they are. Florida is a job. Florida is a top tier job. When that job comes open, they are going to have a lot of very capable people in the loop to go for that job.
Yep. And so
I don't think Florida State is any better or worse.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's another one. So
Yeah.
you're going to have Penn State. You're probably going to have Florida.
You
And
could have some other ones too.
the way things are going right now, you're probably going to have Florida State too.
Mm-hmm. You could have even Michigan by the end of the year, if that keeps going down the drain. But I think about this in the big picture. If I'm going to use the company example. We're working there. You manage a team, and one of your team leads comes in and puts in, let's say another team's team lead puts in their 2 weeks, and you know that you're going to be losing one of your team leads. And there's one other person in the company that is ready to be promoted, but you both want them.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as that first person puts in 2 weeks, you know that manager is going to go talk to that other guy.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, now I need to. As competitive as you think coaching and football is, the behind the scenes of college football is just as competitive. Don't for 1 second think that athletic directors aren't competitive with other athletic directors and departments aren't as competitive with other departments. So what the James Franklin thing does is it says, okay, let's say Florida 2 happens. If there's a hot board of 3 people that you're interested in, well, you might be down to one of them if both of the other jobs open them. For all we know, Florida State's interested in the exact candidate that one of those schools are involved in.
I'm sure.
So, ideally, Vince, and you and I both agree with this, in normal circumstances, I don't like mid-season firings. I just, traditionally, it didn't make sense. However, in the new age of college football, where recruiting's a lot different, the portal's a lot different, and before, it was a lot. It never made sense to fire early in the season. You're like, what's the point? We're not going to gain anything. But now, if you don't make a change, and if you know a guy's not your guy, in my opinion, these days it makes more sense to do it earlier so that you can make a hire if available. I mean, who knows if the coach you want is available or has to wait. I don't know. We both have heard Matt Rule, right, of course.
Mm-hmm. Penn State.
But I would assume that he would not just be like, hey, guys, I'm leaving, in the middle of the season. But who knows? College football's weird. Guys, I just want to say for the record, stop all the nonsense. We're like, let's go pay Dan Lang. Dan Lang's not leaving Oregon.
No.
Okay.
And also, by the way, none of you would leave that position either. If you were Dan Lanning, you would not leave. Right. You've got Nike money there. There's no reason for you to leave. And
right.
You're kind of letting your heart talk.
Brett Taylor says Jimmy Sexton has already talked to Penn State, FSU, and UF. Okay? He's going right now. Even if we're not intending to fire Mike Norvell this week, just to cover your ass, you're having that talk with agents.
Well, yeah, you got to. I mean, that's his job, and he's, Jimmy Sexton. He kind of works in frantic spurts. Right? Yeah. As the carousel is moving, he is guns ablazing.
Well, because it lines up his guys.
Right, and then it kind of settles for a while. But this is Jimmy Sexton's season, absolutely, positively, for sure.
It's good to be the king.
Also, yeah, I mean, he wins no matter what, right? Can we also put to bed the foolishness about Jimbo Fisher?
I'm not.
It's absolute and utter nonsense.
I think there's a less than 5% chance of it happening, but I don't think it's impossible, and I'm going to give you a few reasons. Normally, if you were to make a midseason fire, the guy you would want is not available until the end of the season because they're coaching another football team. That's not the case with Jimbo Fisher, okay? Jimbo Fisher, and I told you this, Vince, I said it was weird like 4 or 5 months ago. All these podcasts, all these interviews, all these hanging out with all the players and talking about his love for the Bowdens and reliving all the memories. I'm like, Vince, you know exactly what this is about. At the time, we weren't thinking Florida State, necessarily, but I was saying he is on a complete and utter PR rebuilding his image sprint right now to make him more likable.
Well, he also didn't have a job. at the time.
because he clearly wants to get back into college football. I don't think you would question that.
I don't
Um,
question that.
my thinking with Jimbo and why it's not like I'm saying it's likely or that I want it. The reason why I can't mark it as nonsense and impossible is because he is not currently employed. He has won a national championship here at Florida State. He had top 5 recruiting classes every year, and if you can kind of throw away that final season because he was already checked out. Every season that he was not checked out, like the final season, you weren't going to even come close to less than 500. It wasn't even going to be a possibility. So what you end up with is a guy that's not currently employed, who just so happens lives in Tallahassee, who's been kissing the brass ring of Florida State for the last couple weeks and months on podcast shows and on national TV, while fans are chanting his name last week on during the Miami game, um, in what could be a feel good story. He learned, man. He looks back and he wishes he had never left Florida State and all the things he had problems with, facilities. Well, that's solved now. And maybe you could get him on the cheap. Maybe it wouldn't cost a top tier salary to get Jimbo Fisher, which I don't think he would demand. That's why I can't rule it out, because it would be like, remember the good old days, like, and both sides saying like it didn't end well, but he also didn't get along with the previous administration. Those guys aren't here anymore. His problems are now fixed technically at Florida State with what he wanted, and we won a national championship together. So there are a lot of check boxes and there are a lot of negatives, but
Ryan,
I don't think it's impossible.
Ryan, he purposefully and knowingly sabotaged the program on the way out the door. There is no way you bring someone that has done that to your program back into the program.
Let's play hypotheticals. If it happened, if the most unlikely scenario ever happened, what would, and it was announced, and obviously Vince, you don't have the authority to say no, it can't happen. Like, so let's say it did happen. How quickly over the next 6 months would you get right back on board?
I would, no, I'm going to stand on business.
I don't know, Vince.
I would root for the team because I root for the team. It doesn't matter who the coach is. I will root for the team. I root for the team with Bobby. I root for the team when Odell took over. I root for the team when Willie Taggart was running it into the mountain. I root for the team.
No Nation, I do want to
You
bring this up.
you cannot, or I will not support him as the head coach of Florida State University.
So I do want to comment on this. No Nation, Jimbo is not coming. NIL is here now. I don't think that matters. NIL was here when he was at Texas A&M, and my man was still rolling in top 5 classes every single season. Recruiting was never Jimbo's problem. It was his inability to give up fully his play calling, his precious play calling, and even when he tried, he didn't do it fully. But Jimbo, I think all of us universally can say, an elite recruiter, top 5 recruiter in the country right now. Whatever school he would get to, he would be a good recruiter. It's undeniable because he did it everywhere he was. We had top classes. Texas A&M had top classes. So you cannot say that that would be the reason. The reason why it wouldn't happen is what Vince said, that if it's understood at the current administration, the current athletic director, that no, if he did that to us once, what kind of guy is that? We're not going to go down that road. That is a scenario in which I could say, okay, that would be the reason. It wouldn't be because NIL. Jimbo Fisher was an elite recruiter at Texas A&M despite NIL, and they were willing to pony up. So that's what's so frustrating, by the way, about Mike Norvell, bringing it back to Norvell, is we have the resources. We don't
There's
have
no
as
doubt.
much money as a Texas, but we are
have
right up
more,
there.
We have more than enough resources.
Certainly more than Pitt.
So anybody that's online talking about we just need to throw more money at the problem. We have one of the top NIL groups in the country.
We have a top 10. By the way, we have for the last 4 years in a row, a top 10 portal class and a top 15 NIL budget. So guys, what do you think Pitt's NIL budget is compared to Florida State? Nothing.
Yeah.
What do you think Wake's NIL budget? Guys, these are the teams we've been losing to the last couple of years. It's not a pure talent issue, although it would be great to have a better high school recruiting class. It's a combination of the talent we do have that should be if you're in the top 15 of NIL budget, a top 10 portal class every year, and a top 25 high school recruiting class every year, the numbers would tell you that you should be a top 25 program at the end of every year.
Yeah. Kenny Trill, you're right, by the way. Top 15 budget is not cutting it. I agree. We should be higher than that. But a top 15 budget should get you a win or two in this conference every now and then.
And it should get you, if hey, use that as an example. If you're in the top 15, you're right around about being in the playoff talk. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, guys. Like Indiana, you think Indiana's spending nearly as much as the team they just beat this past week?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Indiana's got it going on, and Oregon has tons more money than that, right? So we need to spend a little bit of time talking about the game, just a little bit, I think.
Of course, yeah.
Because I am of the opinion that I think 31 points should win that game.
Most games it should.
And, I think I predicted us to win 31-28. Mm-hmm. And so I did not foresee some kind of, massive turnaround last week and Florida State is going to be blowing out Pitt. I did not say that at all. So 31 points is what I thought we would score, and we did. The defense, again, was a complete and utter train wreck. And now I didn't have great vantage point. The West Club is awesome for the food and kind of the patio area, but it's not great for like seeing the plays necessarily.
It's not all 22. Yeah.
Right. So and by the way, that's not where my seats are, people. I just happened to find some on SeatGeek for a really, really reasonable price. So I had to go back and kind of watch it after the fact. What are we doing, man? What is going on? So after the game, I went to dinner with my family, and we went to one of the staples in Tallahassee, Los Compadres. When was the last time you were there, Ryan?
When was the last time? A long time.
Yeah. So anyway, we're there, and family pulls up, and my family from Orlando is there, and my nephew, who is 9. He's in the 4th grade. And I was like, Andrew, I said, what did you think? He looks me dead in the eye. He goes, our defense isn't very good. Mm-hmm. From the mouths of babes, people. Mm-hmm. My 9-year-old nephew basically spitting facts at dinner over some tortilla chips and salsa that our defense isn't very good. And that is an understatement, to say the least. So
and that goes on Tony White and Mike Norvell, because the players were out of position. If the players are out of position, well, then who coached them?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is, Ryan. You're right, because I see this argument online all the time. It's like, well, the coaches can't play the plays. You're right. The players have to do what they're coached to do, but the coaches are the ones that are coaching them to do what they're supposed to do. So there is the blame is spread across the board. Mm-hmm. You've got coaching, and I don't care if it's, hey, Ryan, I don't care if it's 4-3, 3-4, 3-3, 3-5. I don't give a damn about the scheme. Once that quarterback has surveyed the field and there's no one open and he runs for 15 yards. Once that happens one time, that should never happen again with that kid. Mm-hmm. It should not happen again. How many times did it happen in that game, Ryan?
It was like 3 or 4 times, big time.
I think it was 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I'm saying. So does Tony White, take one of his guys? So we got to spy the quarterback. Did he do that? I don't know if he did or not. I don't have.
No, he did, and then the guy rushed the quarterback from a terrible angle. But guess what?
Yeah,
that's on coaching, because if you're coached to be a spy and your guy doesn't do what he's supposed to do, Who does that fall on in any competitive sport? And I've played
Yeah.
sports. I don't know if you played sports when you were younger, Vince, but it's not. You can't just say no. It's the players. You can't just say it's the coaches. It's
It's
both.
both. It's absolutely both. And it's also the quality of the players you have too. So
Mhm.
it's recruiting too. It's all of it. Kenny, you're right. That's the play I'm talking about. Blake, you see what he did on that play where he was supposed to be the spy. I didn't see him spying anything. I don't know where his eyes were, but I think that's when we had him backed up in the end zone.
Yeah, he went to rush the quarterback. Well, guess what? If he does that, why is he doing that?
Well, one of the reasons why he's doing it is because uh, they're human beings and they make mistakes.
Hmm.
Okay? So I'll allow for that. But why is he out there after that? If we're going to lose the game, which we are going to lose the game, then why keep guys in that are not going to do what they're coached to do?
Hmm. That was the big problem last year.
Blake Nicholson isn't new. Yeah, correct. He's been here 3 years. And I
Still on
get
the
it's a
field.
new defense. I get that part. But, Ryan, let's just say I'd never played football a down in my life, right? I'd never played organized sports or organized ball a down in my life. And a coach said to me, Vince, you don't need to do anything else except spy the quarterback. And what that means is you keep your eyes on him and you do not attack unless you see him coming past the line of scrimmage. I don't need any playbook to know how to do that. Like, I don't need that. I don't need any other help than that. And you can call me naive on that because I don't, like you said, like I've said,
No, when you're
haven't
the
played
spy on
a.
the play, you don't. You're
That's
literally
your
just
job.
you're moving in sequence. If he slides to the left, you slide to the left. If he slides to the right, you slide to the right. You're literally mirroring him.
And all of a sudden he's crashing down to the left side of the line, and I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
and that wasn't the only play that all year that Blake Nicholson has blown up, and not to mention the wide open passes. So here's the real issue, Vince. You're bringing pressure multiple times in man on man coverage. Well, the guy has shown that he's going to burn you the second the offensive line spreads your defensive line, and there's gaps everywhere. Like you said, it happens once. It happens in every college football game once or twice. It really does. Like you watch any college football
Yeah.
game with a running quarterback, you're going to see them take off, and one time they'll kill you for a big pickup. But after that, you're like, no, all the players and the coaches should say, noted. We have to be careful on that. So how about instead of bringing man on man pressure at this guy, how about we play a little safer here? How about we play more coverage here and not get burned? Because whether it was him taking off for multiple times for over 15 yards or us not getting home, by the way, we get zero pass rush, zero, and him just casually tossing the ball in the middle of the field to a wide open receiver, multiple people, not anywhere around the guy. We get burned again on a wheel route in this game. Um, at some point,
Well, when you
you
have
can't
four
say
seconds, when you have 4 seconds to survey the field, someone's going to be open.
right. But the big thing is there's no way you can say all those players, every single one of them, it's all their fault. They all suck. No, they're talented players. They're more talented than Pitt's players. The coaching's not working if they're not doing what they're supposed to. And if they're not doing what they're supposed to, they shouldn't be playing. And you should play someone who will listen to what they're supposed to and is going to take good coaching. And if someone's going rogue, you're not going to play for me because you're not going to do what I need you to do in my defense. I'll start a freshman. So it's going to be both. It's players not making good decisions, and it's the coaching because ultimately, just like being a CEO at a company, you can blame the employees. You go, I'm the CEO.
Yeah,
I'm the
you
offensive coordinator. I'm the defense. You have to take that responsibility.
you allowed the employees to work for you,
Hmm.
right? So yeah, ultimately it's going to fall on the coach, and the coaches, and then ultimately the head coach. We absolutely need better players. And I'm
But we
seeing
already had
stuff
better
at,
players than Pitt.
no, but what I'm saying, I'm seeing it in the chat here. We need the types of players that Florida State should be getting. And yes, I think our talent level is better than Pitt, but not enough better to make a difference.
Right.
To be able to cover up for a lack of whatever is
Yeah.
happening in the staff, right? But then again, it goes all the way back to the first part of the conversation tonight, is that the recruiting just is not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. End of series. The series is being canceled. You have to recruit better. Otherwise, you get what you get, and this is what we get. We get a completely flushed roster from last season, rightly so. But that was a one season roster anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got a brand new roster this season and a brand new set. We flushed. We got a brand new, just clean the toilet bowl. We got the blue liquid in there.
I love the
Everything
blue liquid. Yeah.
we're going to be flushing that again. But it doesn't matter, because if you do not recruit well enough, you're going to be in this. And I'm not saying, you got to have the top recruiting class every year. Like, I think those days are gone for all schools. But I do think that it is possible for a program like Florida State, with the right people leading the program, should be in the top 8 year in and year out as far as recruiting is concerned.
Yeah, and we've done it. That's what I mean. Like, even we're not talking about Jimbo as a future head coach again. Whatever I'm saying is, we were almost, go back to those recruiting classes every single year with Jimbo Fisher. We were there every year. We were excited about signing day May when Jimbo Fisher's class. You were like, look at this guy.
Now we didn't see any wide receivers actually get on the field till they were 85 years old, but we were excited when they signed.
Yeah. And the conversation, like I see Brett and Kenny going back and forth, guys, you're both right. So Brett is saying Tony had better athletes than he had at Cuse. Yes, I believe that. But even if you don't believe that, Kenny, and your argument saying let's get better players, well, on paper, those guys were better players than what he had at Cuse. So what's to say that your evaluation of who a better player is correct every year? Because clearly it's not. On paper, I promise you, line up the blue chip ratio, Florida State's current roster versus what he had at Syracuse on defense. I promise you, it's a more talented roster. It's that part's not up for today from a, hey, who did they try to get? What are the talent they tried to bring in? Development is a thing, man. Development is a thing. We've seen it with coaches all across the country. There are teams that had no business winning certain games, and they maximize their talent. Think about watching just the other, look at Indiana last year. You think that's a top 10 roster? No. They took the guys that they did have.
Made it work.
They were pretty talented, and they maximized what they get out of them. Do you think Arizona State last year had a top 10 roster? Kenny Dillingham took a roster that probably was an average roster, and he maximized what he got out of them. We see it all the time in college football, so we can't pretend like we don't have those athletes. We have better athletes than both those teams that we just named. It's not working. It's been 6 years. I wanted to spell one quick thing, Vince. I saw the people going retrospective back to the Willie Taggart situation was completely different, because not only were the results on the field terrible, but we couldn't even book hotels for our players.
It was bad.
We weren't even like lining up basic things that you had to do in order to be an organized football team, and everyone in the administration noticed and said, oh, not only are we losing, but everything else organization-wise in the org is not going to be good. So Mike Norvell, hey, things are on time. People are on time. Practices are organized. Flights are booked. All these things are lined up. It's just the wins aren't there, so you can't compare Willie. So I
Yeah,
think that argument's a false argument. I
I don't
do
think you.
understand people's point of the time that they gave
Sure.
Willie. So hey, take what you will of that. Everyone has an opinion on that. Um, but I think at this point we have enough body of evidence over last season and this season and the seasons previous to 2022. If you combine all these, all you have to do, Vince, and I hate to do this.
Hold on.
Look how
Don't.
many look
Go ahead.
look how many firsts Mike Norvell has been the head coach of. First
Yeah, I
lost
know. I
to
know. I
Duke.
know. You don't have to say them out loud, Ryan. We all know what they are.
So those add up, man. It's a
Yeah.
cumulative thing. It's not one season. It's not now we're in 2 seasons. And if you don't see it getting any better, what is Mike Norvell going to do different next year that he didn't do this year or last year? He's already reloaded. He wiped out the entire roster and every coach, pretty much. So what could he possibly do different? You think he's going to fire Gus Malzahn? No. You're not going to fire Gus Malzahn. He loves that guy. He probably thinks he's doing awesome. And I don't
Well,
think the offense is
they're
that bad.
they're definitely scoring enough points to win.
They're
They're scoring
scoring
enough
a
points to
hell
win.
lot more than we did last year.
Let's do a quick commercial here. I want to thank again Captain Black. Captain Black's Fishing in Panama City Beach sponsors our show, has been sponsoring our show for years now. Looking for some charter fishing opportunities, and you're going to be headed to the Panhandle, give our buddy Captain John Black a call. And also, Brian brought it up earlier on the show here. We've got a new sponsor as well, the Palace Saloon, a tradition in Tallahassee, the Palace Saloon. You know where it is. It's a stone's throw from Doak Campbell, and you can go there and have a great time, just like you did when you were an undergrad, and we all know you were there. So go hit up our buddies at the Palace Saloon as well. There are currently 32 people watching on YouTube, I think, and I would like to see the hit 32 as well. Hey, I know you don't like what we're talking about. I know every one of you don't like the topic that we're talking about, but if you would like the show, that's not the same thing. So hit the thumb if you do not mind, and then also Ryan, your boy here brought it up. We are 4 subscribers away from 1,400. Wouldn't that be amazing if we got to 1,400 subscribers on this show tonight? So if you are not
Climb with us.
subscribed, if you are not subscribed to Garnet and Old, which we continue to climb, Ryan, it's slow, but we do continue to climb. We would love to hit 1,400 if you have not already subscribed. There, that's my commercial for now.
Last topic of discussion tonight. Let's talk unreasonable
next?
solutions
What's
and
next?
reasonable solutions.
Yeah.
Guys, Nick Saban's not going to be our head coach.
Nope.
Dan Lanning's not leaving Oregon.
Nope.
Lane Kiffin's not leaving Ole Miss.
Not for Florida State.
Not for Florida State, guys. I know you guys think because it's the fan color, it's the fan classes, right? Oh man, Florida State's way better than guys. Ole Miss right now doesn't suck, and he's been there a while. He has his system, he has his coaches, he has his players. He's doing fine. Coaches generally don't leave good situations to go to shit situations. Just being honest with you.
Hold on. Whoa. This is not a shit situation.
Let's just say if you were to look at Florida State and see their current status of their roster and how things are going, it's not great.
No, but my point is that if you are an up-and-coming coach, and would you consider Lane Kiffin an up-and-coming coach? I mean, do you think he warrants being at a program that is of a higher stature than Ole Miss?
Yeah, I don't think in the modern age, guys, I hate to tell you, like, traditionally, I think Florida State's a better program, but I think in the modern age of, like, wins and losses, Ole Miss has a better win and loss record than us.
Yeah, but the point I'm kind of getting at here is that as a coach, if you see your trajectory as being something of a climb, then you do not look at Florida State or any other, or Penn State or any other school that's having a problem right now, and you don't look at that and go, why would I go to that problem? You look at that going, I can solve that.
Yeah, but I just
That's
don't
their
think.
mentality.
Yeah,
That's a
sure.
coach's mentality.
But not when things are going awesome where you currently are. Like, and
Well,
you're in a
yeah,
program that can win a like Ole Miss could make the playoffs this year.
they could make the playoffs this year, but I also say, if it came down to it, and if Florida and Florida State are both open at the same time, there's no way Kiffin comes to Florida State. He's going to go to
There's a
Florida.
better chance of Dion coming to Florida State than Kiffin.
Oh God,
No, that's how unlikely I think Kiffin is.
yeah.
That it's not a point to say I think Dion's coming to Florida State. It's how unlikely I think Lane Kiffin would leave Ole Miss to come to Florida State. So what does that leave you? A lot of people like USF's head coach. That would be
Yep.
an upward move. But most of what we're going to talk about here, guys, are people that would be no different than when we got Mike Norvell from a, hey, we'll see how it goes, but we probably don't know yet until a couple years go by. So when you're talking about firing a coach, you have to realize that the fan colored glasses have to come off. You're probably not going to get the guy you're dreaming of. Nick Saban's not picking up Alfred's
Nick
call.
Nick Saban's not walking through that door.
Right. So you have to be realistic. And the realistic situation in college football is even if you're a blue blood, you're probably going to get an up and coming coach, which means it's someone from the Big 12 or a smaller conference who's done really well, who's been an elite recruiter or a very good play caller or a very good defensive coordinator. And whatever your brand is that you're trying to, usually you do the opposite of whatever the last guy did. If you're rah-rah, you go more serious. If you're serious, you go rah-rah. And so you have to look at the coaches that could be open and available to actually see it as an upward move. And guys, how many of you right now in the chat, really, if you're honest with yourself without going to a list online, can name some coaches that you think would be a home run hire?
No, the only people that you're hearing people talk about are the people that already have jobs and probably are not going to leave. Because
Right.
those are the names that people know.
It's a pipe dream.
It's a pipe dream. And the this is man. I almost got into it on X about this next thing, and I see somebody in the chat talking about money. There's a huge hefty buyout, and there's a lot of back and forth at like who's going to pay for this. And there's I think I'm probably going to lose some followers about this, but that's okay. There's a lot of people out there that are more than willing to spend other people's money. And I'm not like that. Like I want to be smart with the funds and resources that our program has. I understand. I also understand the opportunity cost of it, right? Because the longer this drags on, you start talking about how it affects the economy in town, right? And how it affects the recruiting. So at some point, there's going to be that point where we cannot sustain the negatives. It's worth it to go ahead and pony up the dollars. But I mean, who's going to come up with $57.8 million?
Now, Vince, I'm of the belief that if you're a power school in modern college football, we are not the ones that have to come up with that answer, because if they really want to do it, they'll find the money, they'll finance it, they'll do whatever they need to do. I don't think it's like Penn State's not loaded compared to Florida State. They found the money. So I'm one of those people. Like, it would be different if we're Iowa State or something, right? But Florida State, most big blue blood programs, if they really want to make a change, if they say, okay, the they did the cost benefit analysis, and it would cost us more to keep this guy around because we're going to keep losing, and it's going to affect all these other things. So we're trying to go to another conference. We need to put our best foot forward. So it's worth it, regardless on where it comes from. They would make it happen. They would find the money, just like they found the money for all the renovations and the upgrades, and you just make it work. I think that's how the American way is to go in debt if you have to.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried at all about where they would come up with the money, because I do think if they really wanted to, if Alfred said today, we have to fire Mark Norvell, they wouldn't be like, but we can't. It's impossible. They would find a way.
No, I agree with you. I want to say I'm worried. I'm not worried about the money. I may be a little concerned with the way they acquire the necessary funds, just because, going into debt for whatever, sometimes sometimes you have debt that's good debt, but
Just get rid of it.
But you're going to let a coach go, and then, you have no guarantee, of course, that what's going to come in is going to be any better. It may be worse. And then you will have mortgaged quite a bit of dollars, just to get yourself into a similar situation. And that's big time football. I get it. That's why I'm so thankful that, at least from everything I've gathered, I believe Mike Alford is the right type of guy in this position to handle,
Yep.
What I believe is about to go down. I love the players, Ryan. I love the coaches, but ultimately I love the program, right? And that is the thing that has to continue. And I think Alford, while he probably is sick that what's happening is happening right now, because I'm sure he's got a great relationship with Mike, but ultimately he understands that this is not personal. This is business. Mm-hmm. And I think from a business side, he's going to handle this the way it exactly needs to be handled. The only, I go back to what I was saying, is that the only thing that irks me sometimes, and I have to remember that on social media, kind of what I'm dealing with, it is that there's a lot of people that just throw around $60 million like it's nothing. And it's not nothing.
Yeah.
There are other things. Money, resources are not unlimited. And I don't say that to indicate that we should just keep Mike forever. That's not what I'm saying. It was like, there's just this immediate jump to fire them all, burn the whole thing down,
Yep.
and let's start from scratch. Easy to say when you're talking with a keyboard, and maybe that's not your money. Maybe it is your money. You people in the chat, maybe you are big boosters. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe you are the ones that are bending the ear saying, hey man, this ain't gonna cut it. You may be those people. I'm not. So, I do what I can do, and Ryan, you do what you can do, right? As far as being a booster is concerned. But this big time money, somebody said Stanford just had somebody donate $50 million.
Yeah.
Do we have that in the Florida State fan base?
Hey, all these players, I'm just saying, all these players tweeting out about it's time, and former players in the NFL who have been in the NFL a long time, maybe they need to make a call and say, hey, I'll give $5 million right now.
Yeah.
To the cause.
James C., maybe Mike will agree that he's already been paid for more than he's worth and will leave for free.
No.
Got integrity? No, he's not going to do that. But I will also say, and I tweeted earlier today and linked our show from last year, Ryan, where we had that show about how to structure coaches' contracts in a different way. Because ultimately, the way these contracts are done nowadays it is literally handcuffing institutions. And, you can say that you can never have enough money, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the market will pay for it, you get you get what you deserve, whatever the sayings are. But you know, I'm kind of tired of having our the trajectory of our program being hijacked because of uh, you know this contract situation that we're
Yeah.
in, and not just Florida State, the sport as a whole, right?
The problem is with that argument with the different contracts is if that coach goes to a school and then he's like, we want to do this contract this way instead, but then other schools are saying, no, we'll give you the large buyout and all that stuff, they're going to go to the place with more security. So it's a nice idea, but I don't think it's realistic because
I
no school is
know,
going to do it.
but it should be realistic because it's still a hell of a lot of money. Go back and watch our show. Find my tweet, find that link, and go watch that show. And I break it all down. Coaches are still making a crap ton of money, and there's still a buyout, by the
Yep.
way. It's just not what we're all dealing with now.
I will tell you one big name that Florida State could absolutely get, and it just so happens is available. James Franklin. Now, tongue in cheek, but guys, Penn State got tired of James Franklin. He had been there 12 years and consistently was 10 or 11 wins. I mean, you look at the win losses and the bowl games and the
Oh man, imagine
playoffs,
if we could win 10 games.
they get tired of it because when you've had someone for 12 years and that's the cap is 10 wins and a solid bowl, it gets old after 12 years. But I'm here to tell you, James
He
Franklin's
can
going to
he can
land
recruit.
somewhere.
He can recruit.
He's going to land somewhere, and he is a winner. He wasn't a national championship level winner, but he knew how to win games. So I would not at all be mad, actually, if Florida State hired a James Franklin. Like, that would not be a bad hire, in my opinion. I would not think negatively of that hire. I'll tell you someone else who it's on everyone's hot board, and I don't even know why, but it's not unrealistic because he's said he's interested in doing it. John Gruden has to be on every college football's wish list because John Gruden said, "I would love to come back to coach and coach in college football. I've always wanted to." That's why he's on. Everyone's doing Gruden watch, and it's dumb except for the program that he ends up going to. I do believe John Gruden will be coaching college football in the next few years.
We're gonna have John Gruden's gonna coach college football. He will. Bill Belichick did too. What a clown show
Yes.
that is.
Can I tell you what though? Bill Belichick, man, had one all-time great quarterback in New England and rode that thing till it died. John Gruden coached a lot of good players and a lot of different styles of teams. He's a good. I would take John Gruden 1,000 times over Bill Belichick, even before he came to North Carolina, knowing how that would go. I actually like John Gruden, but he's on everyone's hot board. It's like Gruden watch for everyone, so it's not likely. But I'm saying it's not impossible because he said he wants to coach in college for whatever reason that is. You could probably get the USF coach. There are a few other guys, coordinators too. You can't rule everyone. Everyone wants to go off to your like, hey, hot board coaching hires like, let's go on head coach. You plenty of teams hire offensive and defensive coordinators to be their head coach.
Yeah.
Who would be that mad if we got like an elite offensive coordinator who's perennially good to come be a head coach? It's not like anyone would be like, that can't work. It's impossible. It happens all the time in college football. Coordinators get hired. So that's why there is no hot board yet, because right now, as it stands right now, all the coaches that are sexy names have jobs, except for James Franklin.
And their teams are playing pretty well.
And their teams are playing pretty well. And everyone else, good luck making a hot board from some, like, you'll get a lot of, like, hot offensive and defensive coordinators or some lower head coaches that might be an upward trajectory move. But that's not a logical hot board right now. What I would do if I were all of you is pay attention over the next couple days on, because there will be articles about Penn State's hot board. you could probably copy and paste the names on that hot board and likely have it be the hot board for several different teams who have availability. Because the names that are on there for a Penn State are likely the same coaches that Jimmy Sexton's pumping for all schools. So that would be a good litmus test. However, Vince, I will put one caveat, and I said I would do this on the show. I will put whatever reputation I have, which isn't much.
Not since that incident in Mexico.
Yeah, that one time. I promise everyone watching, I'm putting my reputation on the line for this one. If Florida State goes on the road against Stanford this weekend and loses that game, Mike Norvell will be fired next weekend. Book it, bookmark this. We'll clip it out. You know me, I'll post it every day on X if it were to happen. If Mike Norvell goes to Stanford at 10:30 kick against an awful Stanford team in which we're favored somehow by almost 14 points or whatever it is, we're favored by why would we be favored amazingly by anyone right now? If we were to go to Stanford and lose that game, Mike Norvell will be fired by next weekend. I promise you. No question. That's one of those losses like the UCLA loss was for, what's his name? Franklin, right? When you lose like those kind of games after already losing a couple in the season, it's embarrassing. And Florida State doesn't want to be embarrassed. And so I'm telling you, Vince, I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I absolutely think that would happen if we lost to Stanford. If we don't lose to Stanford, let's say we beat Stanford, and let's say we even won the game after that. I likely see us not firing him until the end of the season if we are at 6-6 or below. Now, guys, I hate to tell you, if we're 7-5, they aren't firing him. But it would take us losing to a Stanford or a Wake.
Oh my gosh! But all on the table.
Both of those are possibilities. I just think that Stanford would be so egregious that he might not want to get on the plane coming home, kind of thing.
Yeah, let's kind of tie this all up, Ryan. We got 85 people watching here.
Do you agree with I want to put you on record. Do you agree with my take on Stanford?
I would say that I'm not going to say that if we lose that game, he is going to be fired. I'm not going to say that. I will say that if they do lose that game, I would not be surprised if they pull the trigger.
Yeah, you wouldn't say it's unlikely.
That. I wouldn't say it's unlikely. No. We're 3-3. Oh man, what a great day August 30th was, Ryan. August 30th was a fantastic day.
By the way, Vince, real quick on that point, if we had lost to Alabama, he would be fired right now. Because that would mean your only wins would be against two terrible, your only cupcakes on the schedule. So the only reason he has a job as we speak after that big game is because we beat Alabama. But if he was right now, both 0-3 in the conference and lost to Alabama, this would be done deal.
Yeah, I believe that it would take a losing season for him to get fired at this point.
Which is not unlikely now.
As a matter of fact, it's more likely than not, in my opinion.
Yeah, Florida will beat us, guys. Clemson will beat us.
Yes.
So that puts us at 5 losses.
So, and why do I say that? Because this team is not playing with any, or at least the defenses are not playing with any kind of coherence right now. Mm-hmm. And, we're everybody's get right game right now. Somebody posted in the chat that Florida State's not the opportunity it was 6 years ago. Florida State will always be the opportunity because no one wanted to follow Bobby, and then Jimbo did. And then, Willie Taggart got the job. Mike Norvell got the job. Coaches don't look at it like the way we would look at it, I don't think. They look at it as like Florida State, brand, viewers, fandom, resources, recruiting. It has everything I need to be successful, and I believe in me.
Yeah,
right?
coaches
So
think that
it's
they're the missing
always going to
ingredient.
be the opportunity.
All coaches think I'm the missing ingredient. Like I'm a genius. If I go there, I guarantee any coach that would accept the Florida State job would think, how did Mike Norvell fail so spectacularly? Anyone with this kind of prowess and blue bloods and in the state of Florida, I don't know how Mike Norvell even managed that because I'm going to come in here and dominate. Willie Taggart, make no mistake, came here thinking he was going to dominate. Mike Norvell came here thinking they were going to kick ass. All these guys think that they're the missing ingredient and they can't believe how bad it went until it happens to them. I mean, you're not in the big time coaching if you don't have hubris.
Yeah. I will say, going back to Michael Alford, is that when the time comes, when and if and when the time comes, I feel confident that every ounce of possibilities has been extracted before they make that decision. So if you haven't watched the In the Box YouTube pod with Stephen Ponder, they've got a new series out called In the Box, and Stephen Ponder interviews Alford for like 30 minutes. It's just well done. And I have a lot of confidence in him and his ability to be a leader in a coaching search. And I believe that all I's will be dotted and T's will be crossed when the decision is made that it's time to move on. And I you know me, Ryan. I don't want to. My heart does not want to move on because I wanted it to work with Mike Norvell.
Yep.
Because of the type of person he is, because of the way he connects with the players, and I believe he's a genuine guy. But I also, and I had a chat with my wife a little bit ago. She said, I don't want this to not work. She loves the Knowles people. She
Yeah.
loves the Knowles. She said, I don't want this to not work. I said, I know. I said, but I don't see how you can come back from not just this, but everything that's happened,
Yeah.
which includes what's currently happening. I don't know how you can come back from that. And
Do you think?
coming back from that, Ryan, is not like 7 wins.
Yeah.
When I say coming back from that, I'm talking about where Florida State should be, which is perennially in the playoffs, 2 out of 3 years. That's what I mean by come back from that.
Can we get Dave Aranda? Is that an upward movement? Tell me you've been watching, guys.
I do watch Coach speak. Yeah, it's funny stuff. Oh my gosh, he would not come here specifically because of that show.
Yeah, and it's sad because we all wanted it to work out for Mike Norvell because we liked him genuinely. Just to be honest with you guys, if he had been any good at all, I actually liked Willie Taggart quite a bit, like the person. Like I liked the vibe of
I like coaches that love. I love coaching staffs that love this program and get a lot of wins.
yeah. Yeah,
That's what I love.
you have to have both. I can like you. In fact, Jimbo Fisher was the least likable coach we've had, and so much so that that's why when he started struggling, it was like, man, it's easier to get mad and want to fire a guy like Dabo when he starts losing than it would be to fire someone like Mike Norvell when he starts losing.
Oh, it's going to be very painful when
Yeah.
that happens.
And by the way, last thing I'll say is, guys, tonight, the worldwide premiere, hop on our YouTube channel on Garnet Knoll and go to the video section. The worldwide global premiere of the Dabo Sweeney parody song is out globally right now.
It's going to be track number 2 on the album.
Yeah, we are making a parody album, and it's fun to make.
We should really be better about this. We need to take some cues from Taylor Swift on how to release stuff.
The Eras tour, we're going to do like the Garnet and Old tour.
Yeah, the Garnet Old tour. Folks, I know I'm trying not to shill this too much, but man, if you have not subscribed, we are 3 away from 1,400. And I know there are people watching on YouTube that are not subscribed. Please subscribe and get us to 1,400 tonight. That would be fantastic. And of course, like and subscribe to the show too. Ryan, we're good for a show for Thursday night, right?
We are good for a show Thursday night. I do want to thank Kenny Trill. Clemson is remembering that they're good again. Yes, that is the song. The only regret I have on the song, which I wrote, is it was written about 3 weeks ago, and in the track it says something to the effect of, Clemson's losing and FSU is back or something like that.
Yeah,
That's unfortunate. I'm
that's
not
really
reproducing it,
unfortunate.
but the
Hey, your
track is so
daddies.
funny. Just as a quick preview to all of you, the first track we released on 3 weeks ago about Mario Cristobal is a parody song that's also available. And then
And also unfortunate that we ended up losing to Miami after that.
yes, now Clemson. Now next week, Vince,
Yeah.
in honor of the ridiculous the ridiculous talk about Jimbo Fisher being our head coach. I have a Jimbo Fisher parody song, which I quite enjoy, and I think it's the best track of the three, in fact. But go listen to, guys, right after Garden Old tonight, go listen to the Clemson, the Dabo Sweeney track. It's got a smooth beat, it's got great lyrics, and if you like that track, share it out on X, share it out on YouTube, because we are
Yeah,
making an album.
there's going to be a whole album, and we haven't come up with a title yet for the album. I'm thinking kind of like Life of a YouTuber or something like that.
Send us ideas for an album title to garnetold@gmail.com or tweet at us at Big Papa East or at VC Knoll, because if you have an album, it's going to be all parodies. So,
All parodies, yeah.
and I have 3 more written. I just have not created them yet, but they're written. One, just as a preview, one is about the fall instead of the
Hey,
climb.
man, you're giving it all away. This is not what Taylor Swift would do.
Okay, yeah, I'll release it one at a time. Then go check out the Dabo Sweeney parody song. I like it's good. We ain't winning, but like, what is it? What did I actually call it? We ain't winning like we did in 18 or something like that. I like the title. I thought it was very clever.
Shout outs. Knoll Nation was here tonight. Rockin' Knoll, our buddy, Rockin' Knoll. Vontae B was here tonight. He says Mike needs to go. Let's see, who else we got? Kenny Trill was all over it tonight, Ryan. Kenny Trill was spitting facts, keeping people in line. Brett Taylor got to make it live tonight. He doesn't often get to make it live. Let's see, who else we got here? Marchief One says he likes Norvell. Recruiting is an issue and has been. Yes, on-field decisions have been shocking. I don't know. I kind of like a lot of like if you're talking about the fourth down calls, most of them I've been okay with. Who else we got here? Moving on. Breeze in Georgia. Good evening, gentlemen. Pretty soon you're going to be Big Papa East in Georgia. And Ryan, we're still planning on going to the Georgia Southern game?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Put you on the spot right now. Old Dominion game, Georgia Southern.
You have to remind me of the date.
Garnet Old's going to be there. Ryan said he's going to be there, so bank it. Cody Johnson was here tonight. Shannon Ciccarelli says, who I know, hashtag anyone but Jimbo.
I know her.
Yeah. Hey, I know her. Who else do we got? Man,
Vince, can I paint your wife?
Tricky RI. College football is not about feelings anymore. It's about W's and L's and money. So I say bring Jimbo on. Not a fan of his, but everyone here knows we'd love the great recruits and the W's. He wasn't winning a lot at Texas A&M, I'll just say that, with all the recruits that he had. James C. in the house. Wow, there's a lot of chats tonight, Ryan.
Well, it's the good and the bad
James Chandler. Not James. The Chad. I got a crazy idea. We are going to lose anyway and can't fire Mike. So just start the freshman, and then in a couple of years, the payout will be lower, and they will 3 years of experience. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Vince. We it's the good and the bad about the business of college football. When Florida State is bad and there's a potential of a firing, business is good.
Business is booming. Yeah.
If we're bad and there's no hope that we're firing him like last year, business is terrible for us. But But coaching, let me tell you what, nothing would probably raise our subscriber count faster than
A
a
coaching
la
search,
2020 Bob Stoops. It's Bob until it ain't. Coaching
yeah,
search again. Flight
a
tracker. Get
coaching
your flight trackers
a
ready.
coaching search or realignment talk. Roof One Restoration says Signetti. I don't see him leaving. Unbothered fan one. Why not fire him now? FSU is a joke right now. Man, I'm telling you, you're right. Um, somebody was it Booger McFarland that said we definitely overvalued some of these teams. So Florida State was one of them. Like, man, we weren't even ranked at the beginning of the year. So, we're kind of where we probably thought most people thought we would
But
be.
how in God's name did we beat Alabama? That's what I'm thinking right now.
Oh man, because we dominate the SEC.
Yeah, we struggle in a
We
man.
we struggle with a really tough conference like the ACC. Tempest with a 7. I'm sick of the defense's sloppy tackling. Word. Surfer RC, play the underclassmen and prep for next year. No sense waiting like last year and being in this same spot again in 12 months. Man, I'm concerned. I shouldn't be concerned, but it doesn't matter what happens now at this point. The recruiting class is going to take a big hit.
I'm just doing this to bother you, Vince.
We need Deion Sanders. No, we don't. We needed Deion Sanders in the mid to late 80s when he was a player.
He
We do
did
not need
win
him as a
last year. He did win
we
yesterday.
we do not need him as a coach.
Well, he's having I would be more worried about him from a health standpoint, man. Every 5 seconds, he's
Yeah.
got some new blood clot, which sucks because I don't want to see anyone have that kind of health problems. And even he seems like pissed about it. Like, what the hell? I always wonder, like, you were an elite athlete. Like, how does that happen? It has to be genetics or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't wish any ill on him at all. I mean, he's a human being and anybody going through any kind of sickness or illness or problems, man,
But Jameis for
you
head
know,
coach.
prayer, uh, prayers up. Oh man. That's the other
EDW.
thing, Ryan. That's the other thing is like everybody wants all these, legacies and alumni is like that rarely works out.
I would take
Rarely
Jameis as a
works out.
QB coach.
We see some funny drills.
No, just imagine him coming, them interviewing his person. It's like in the way he always looks up, like smiling at the sky, and he's always, I'm just happy to be here. I mean, him and he's having a great time with Kenny Pickett. It's great to see them
Yeah.
hanging out together. I don't know if I know you don't watch too much NFL, but Jameis Winston is a gem in the NFL, and everyone in the world knows he will never start another be a
No, he
starter
won't.
again. But
Which is
he's
ridiculous, by the
completely
way.
embraced his role, and everyone loves it now. Hey, I would
Oh
make the
boy.
league minimum. I'd make the league minimum, and any day you want me to make the league minimum, that would be fine with me if I'm Jameis.
I will make up jingles. I'll say prayers for everybody. I'll eat a W. I'll hold the
Yeah.
clipboard. I'll do whatever for that kind of cash. That's for
Yep.
sure. Thursday night, Ryan, 7 p.m. Garnet and Old.
No inside info, no contacts, a lot of problems.
A lot of problems. We got a lot of problems, people.
Hey, but no matter what, through all of it, we always say, go Knowles.
Go Knowles.